From the High School for Recording Arts in St. Paul, we present another edition of the Midwest Basketball League. Today, the Minnesota Lakers begin a back-to-back weekend against a pair of Illinois teams. On today's slate, the Springfield Panthers. Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Peden alongside Chase Coley, a recent graduate of the University of Iowa and the all-time leader in blocks in Minnesota high school history. Chase, this is semi-pro ball, so a lot of folks are looking to maybe get an offer with the team or just find a way to stay involved with the sport. That being said, this Lakers team, 2-3, and they've got some players who can make a big impact.
Yeah, things are looking good for them today. If players can come out and show what they've got a really good chance of getting some good looks out here.
And the Springfield Panthers only suiting up 6, of course, with coming from Illinois. It's a bit of a drive. It's just their second year in the league. So we're going to know a little more about them once the game is over, but what kind of opportunity and what kind of motivation does a team like Springfield have to come here on the road and try to get a win?
It's always fun getting road wins. It's good to come on the road and get wins against good teams, and it's just going to be a good game today.
She would know about getting road wins, having a few NCAA tournament appearances under her belt. So that takes care of the open. We'll have the starters and the game for you shortly. This is the Midwest Basketball League. Chase, I have a question to ask of you. Being an athlete and having competed in so many games at Minneapolis Washburn and for the Iowa Hawkeyes, how much of your life have you spent listening to the Star-Spangled Banner?
I probably listened to that song thousands of times. And it never gets old.
I guess I could say the same thing. I've never played. Actually, you wouldn't want to see me play.
I kind of do.
What?
I said I kind of do. That'd be really funny.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Just the concept of me playing St. Caleb McMorris and Tia Albert to the floor laughing a few years ago. I told them one time about my horrible attempt at playing pickup, messed up my ankle, and they were just on the floor. They were gone.
They're mean.
Well, you know what? They probably are mean.
They are a little bit mean.
No wonder why you didn't join them in Wisconsin or Indiana. You couldn't hang out with them. They were too mean for you.
Yeah, they're so mean to me.
So here's the starters for the Springfield Panthers. They're shooting up 6. Michael Chandler, number 10. He's a forward. Terrence Walls, number 11. He's the center. Brian Milford, number 13. He's the guard. Michael Chandler, number 14, a forward. And Denzel Walker, number 23. He's a guard. Minnesota will start Meach Williams, number 1. He's a guard. Dominic Dawson, number 4, the forward. Rock Rogers, number 5. He's a wing. Kenny Bass, number 13, another wing. And Quinton Jackson, his first home game back from injury. He's a guard. Well, speaking of your experience, Chase, you've had your share of back-to-backs. The Lakers playing today and tomorrow. Of course, you're always excited to play for that first one. How does stamina play a role when you know you've got 2 games in 2 days?
It plays a big role because when you get down to the second game and towards the end of it, most people's legs are gone and it comes down to who's got the most heart, who wants it more, who's working harder for it. So they got to make sure to get a big lead early today so they can kind of save their legs for tomorrow's game.
Springfield at 5-1. They are in second place in the Southwest Division behind Chicago, who we'll be seeing tomorrow, the undefeated Chicago Fury at 6-0. Minnesota at 2-3. A couple of games back of TC Elite. They've been in position to win some of those games, including their 122-113 loss to the Cedar Valley Court Kings. That was the last game they played back on May 6th. And Jason Sandifer told me they were up midway through the third quarter. Cedar Valley went on a run. They couldn't respond in time. They were scheduled to play the Lincoln Lions last weekend. That game was forfeited, so it's been a couple of weeks since the last game. So I guess if you're going to have a back-to-back, getting a 2-week rest is a good way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And that game where they won or they lost to the Cedar Valley Court Kings, 113-122, just shows that they can play with the teams that are doing really well in the league. Well,
I know this is your first rodeo for the Midwest Basketball League. This is only my third game overall, but these teams aren't afraid to rack up points in a hurry. So you're going to see a lot of offense.
A lot of shots going up.
A lot of shots. Well, I guess in your case, you probably would have loved that because it would give you a chance to block. It would give you a chance for some blocks.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done that.
A block?
I haven't played basketball in so long now. It's been a couple months.
Only a couple of months, and it feels like an eternity.
It does.
I suppose you've been used to it for 10, 15. Feels like your whole life, and now.
Yep, we grew up in the gym.
Springfield were wearing, well, they're wearing a little Carolina blue there. The black and blue. Lakers wearing their familiar white with the navy trim. That's an interesting design for Springfield's roster. You don't see that. You don't see Panthers, I should say. You know what? I'm kind of digging those black and blue jerseys. It feels like a Carolina blue. We do play with pro rules, so 12-minute quarters, 24-second shot clock. 3 is off the mark for Michael Chandler. 4 fouls put in the bonus. 5 fouls, that is, 4 to give. And making his way for the first basket of the game, Kenny Bass. Kenny Bass out of Anoka Ramsey Community College. Who scored that one?
I think that was number 13.
We'll give that unofficially to Milford. I'm not sure if that was a shot. It looked a little impromptu, but it goes in. That's what counts. Quinton Jackson missing the corner 3. Rock Rogers, he's a steady hand, but comes up short on that one. Now, as I understand it, you got to play both in halves and in quarters in college.
Yep, my freshman year we played halves.
You played under the old rules, and then they switched over.
They switched it, which eliminated the 1-and-1 bonus. It was double bonus after 5 fouls every time, which changed the game a lot.
And they did that to mirror the international game. Denzel Walker scoring for the Panthers, and a 3-point play chance for Kenny Bass. I know there were some coaches that didn't like the automatic double bonus. What did you make of it going from the old school rules to, the rules that mirrored the pro game?
I think it changed a lot for us because we grew up playing 1-and-1, so it's
in high school, right?
You got to make them prove, and you got to make them make both baskets. But this time they got a chance to shoot the second shot, which for teams that aren't great free throw shooters just gives them a better chance
to get some points out of a possession.
Yep.
Lakers with the steal. Rock Rogers in transition with the finish. His full name is Rochester. He goes by Rock, and he put up a 33 spot in the home opener to help the Lakers stave off a gritty Rochester Roadrunners team. They won that one 193. 7-4 is our score in favor of the Lakers. Again, Springfield only suiting up 6, but they are a 5-1 team, not to be underestimated. And we've got a foul that will result in free throws for Michael Chandler. Chandler and Denzel Walker are the players to watch for the Springfield team. Early thoughts on this one, Chase? Should we get back to you on that?
Yeah.
It's been a while since you've called a game or have covered any sort of game from the sideline, I suppose. You've been busy.
I've been busy sitting on the bench and getting thrown in at the end of the game like, Chase, go do this. Like, okay.
Well, nice recovery.
Hasn't been so much watching, a lot more playing for me.
Nice recovery by Michael Chandler to get them a 3-point play in reverse. That ties it up at 7. Jackson with a little step back. Bounce pass inside. Dominique Dawson with the finger roll.
He has a huge mismatch in size inside. No one on the Panthers has the size to guard that.
You had a few of those in high school.
Couple times. Not a lot of 6'3" girls
at the high school level. Big Ten, though, I presume different story.
Yeah, much bigger girls.
Finally, some folks you could fit in with. Meach Williams has it. 9-9 our score. Looking for Dawson. He's got him. Dawson can't get the runner to fall. Rebound went to Chandler. Panthers trying to go in transition. Kenny Bass with the poke from behind. Rogers has it now.
The Lakers have been picking up full court the last few possessions, and it really seems to be paying off for them.
And the Lakers like that transition game. They like to get after it, like to go for the strip, get those fast break plays. Big part of their identity. Dawson for three. That rims out. Good box out by Brian Milford. Textbook box out, if you ask me.
Very textbook. Over and over and over again in practices.
But that's how you get rebounds. That's how you had so many double-doubles in high school.
So many rebounding drills in practice where we'd be boxing out and Coach Blue would be like, defense, you better get this ball. Offense, no, you better get this ball. And we're like, all right.
Walker with the steal.
Gets on the line.
Panthers in transition. Walker with the finish. And that's the first lead of the game for Springfield. And again, even with a small roster suited up today for Springfield, you can see a lot of back and forth. So the Lakers may be under 500, but all these teams super competitive. It's like the WNBA in a sense, where the gap from first to 12th isn't all that big.
It just depends on legs at the end of the game.
Or in the case of the Lynx, just assembling a bunch of superstars that win
that
titles every odd year. So we'll see if they can finally end that even-numbered curse. But
and now they have Carly Wagner.
Well, Wagner was waived.
She was?
I mean, she was, but because they had to finalize the rosters this week. Admittedly, she's a third-rounder, which would have made making the roster tough, but if nothing else, as we have Walker who's going to drive and get the layup and the foul. In the case of Carly Wagner, even if that's her only shot at the pros, getting drafted boosts your overseas value. So if she wants to go play professionally in Europe or...
She can do that easily. She's an amazing player.
And because she was drafted, that's going to up her value.
Yep.
And how about Denzel Walker going through traffic?
It was a good hard finish. He got knocked down kind of hard.
No pain, no gain, right? I'm sure you had your share of those.
Yeah, just
driving
a few
through
times.
contact. Walker completes the three-point play. And the Lakers now trail by 5. It's a 7-0 run for the Panthers. And we see Therese Smith in the game for the Lakers, number 14, and we've got free throws coming up.
Springfield Panthers, number 14, Michael Chandler.
Chandler with the foul. Of course, with the pro rules, you get 6 before you foul out, but with the Panthers only having 6, they're going to have to be extremely careful with the foul scenario.
Yeah, that's always hard when you don't have people to come in off the bench to help with foul trouble.
Well, and that scenario afflicted Michigan State this past year in the women's team because they had so many injuries. It got to the point where they had Nia Holly playing point guard.
Oh, I remember that game. They actually played pretty well that game.
Well, Nia is a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Rogers makes both free throws. That ends the 7-0 run for the Panthers. 3 on the way from Chandler. No good. Therese Smith with the rebound, and is fouled from behind, and those are the fouls that grind my gears the most. You know,
90 feet from the basket.
Yep. Neither team in the bonus yet, but you know, those are the fouls, especially with only 6.
And to
you
reach
can't afford those.
To reach all the way across
Right.
his body and the opposite side of the court.
Just let it go. You know, get back, play some defense. Good ball movement by the Lakers. Stepping into a 2 was Kenny Bass. He can't hit it. Panthers looking to go outlet. Kenny Bass has other ideas. 2 on 2. Rogers for 3. Bullseye. Panthers on the run. And Brian Milford catches the Lakers falling asleep. I told you, Chase, this is a fast-paced game.
The Panthers are doing a really good job at moving the ball around and getting good, quick, open looks. They've gotten a lot of layups on this team, so the Lakers are going to need to step up and take those easy buckets away early.
Dead ball rebound to the Panthers. And back to our prior chat, I have a feeling Michigan State should have a better year next year if everyone comes back healthy. Three on the way. Swish for Terrence Walls.
Look, the Big Ten Conference is very competitive every year, and it's just very up and down. You never know.
I think the big thing for them is trying to get a better postseason showing. Ohio State got upset in the second round. Lakers call timeout. 19-14 our score in favor of the Panthers. But Kelsey Mitchell, she's in Indiana now, so she'll get a chance to rack up a few more scoring records over there.
Yep.
Well, since you're here, I've got a feeling we'll be analyzing this game and doing a retrospect. Who was the toughest player you had to go against in the Big Ten or just in college overall?
Amanda Zowie B.
The Swedish Shaq.
Yeah, that was my freshman year. That was my freshman year. I remember.
Yep, 20. Because she went pro, I think, that year. That's the only time you got to play her.
Because I remember one time it was like Bethany got hit in the nose or something. Yep, Bethany Doolittle. And coach goes, all right, Chase, go get her. I'm like, wait, you want me to guard Amanda Zowie B?
You're probably thinking, oh, shit. I can't finish the word because we're on the air, but you're probably thinking to yourself, are you serious? And I remember the season finale. It was against Michigan. I had to go cover that game. And I'd say the basketball gods blessed me because I couldn't do the Twin Cities game that year with North and Johnson. That went to triple overtime, highest scoring basketball game in state history for the boys. But the gods blessed me because we had a double overtime game between the Gophers and the Wolverines, and Zowie got a 20-20 game.
Oh, I think she did that. She did that against us. She got 20 and 30.
Yep. I probably shouldn't have triggered your memory. Kenny Bass hitting the rainbow deuce there. Good ATO play for the Lakers, but the Panthers just keep on coming. Denzel Walker knocks it down. He's got 9. 3 on the way, and that's short from Bass. Scrapping after the rebound is the Panthers. That was Chandler, and he's going to take it all the way. Well, Dominic Dawson isn't going to let him. And here comes the substitution for the Lakers, 21. No, that's 23, I should say, Kevin Thompson, but catch, release, no 3-ball from Walls. And another foul in the backcourt on Springfield. That's the last to give for the quarter. Now, with this being under pro rules, you get 7 timeouts. It goes down to 2 in the final 2 minutes of the fourth. Keep an eye out for that because that may be how Springfield manages their stamina, taking a few timeouts.
Yep. Coaches used to do that all the time growing up. Sometimes we get to tournaments and only have 5 girls, and we'd be like, all right, I'm going to stagger the timeouts. So those are your breaks.
AAU or youth player? Because you always have more than 5 in high school.
And yeah, in AAU and in the state high school league. Sometimes we just go play.
Oh, right, the state tournament, your roster shrinks. When Orono won their state title a couple of years ago, that's a good example. The 5 starters is Denzel Walker. Walker making his mark here in Minnesota. But Orono back in 2017, when they won their state title in 3A, they only played the 5 starters. But you get the additional media timeouts when you get to the state tournament, so it's easier to keep your starting 5 out there.
To manage those timeouts and manage getting some breathers in between plays.
And you mentioned Carly Wagner. What was it like going up against her? Because you had the state tournament semifinal where, that was down to the wire. Then you played each other again. I was on hand for that one where you had 49. Carly did her thing.
It was just like, it's like a lot of other games where it's like there's a couple dominant players on a team and you end up guarding each other. There's a few times I ended up guarding Carly and she's way faster than I am, but then I'd go post her up when I was on offense. So we both had our advantages in different areas.
Thompson's fouled. We'll shoot free throws. Like I said, we're going to be this weekend. It'll be a mix of game analysis and story time with what you were able to do in high school and what you were able to do in Iowa. And even though I'm a Gophers guy, so I might have been rooting against you a little bit when those two teams played. To see you bounce back and have a solid senior season after your junior year, I mean, that was, not going to lie, I did a little fist pump, or I should say a little Wakanda salute these days. Thompson at the line, makes the front end. .448 left in the first quarter. The Panthers have held a steady margin here. As the PA announcer doing a little play-by-play as well. Shane Bosek, number 2 in the game. And the Panthers just will not go away. But Latrell Love is there. He's Thompson with the reverse.
It's a good crafty finish down low.
It's almost an underused resource, the rim, as we've got another drive and a charge. Quinton Jackson making the defensive play. Now it's an offensive foul, so there are no free throws awarded.
He went down kind of hard. They got to make sure. They got to make sure they don't have any injuries. They can't afford that. They don't have enough people on the bench.
Well, that's the thing when taking a charge like that on either end.
Putting your body on the line.
It's not the faint. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
I remember Kayla McMorris telling me once she was apprehensive about taking charges. Denzel Walker stripped by Lee Moore, but Lee could not stay in bounds. That being said, you like that as a coach. If you're Jason Sandifer, even if you don't get the turnover, you stop the fast break play.
Yep.
No matter the sport, football or basketball, that's the thing. Get after it. You never know when you'll get that poke, even when the team picks you. Strong move by Michael Chandler to the rim. And the Panthers do get a pair out of that possession. Latrell Love inside, and he scores. Latrell is one of the emotional leaders of this team. He's one of the more expressive figures compared to some folks like Rock Rogers who are more stoic. Loves wears his emotion on his sleeve, and alley-oop, not quite. Thompson was looking for the finish, and Springfield gets the timeout call in as they were trapped in the baseline. 25-21, 3:37 left in the first quarter.
I feel like I was more of a stoic player. I feel like I was goofy when I was on the bench versus when I was on the court. I was very straight-faced most of the time.
You kind of were, now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You were pretty level-headed.
Yeah, I didn't yell. I didn't talk to anybody. I just cheered on my teammates. And
you're talking to me now. Sorry. But no, that's right. You were kind of that calming presence. Yeah, looking at you at Washburn in Iowa, where you were stoic, and then someone like Tia Albert told me, because Tia had a penchant for points at Tartan. She was the person where if she scored 40 points, she was going to let everyone know.
Oh, yeah, Tia's very loud.
But she told me at 5'5", she wasn't going to scare anybody with her stature, so she had to do a little more trash talk.
Yeah, Tia's very in your face. Like, I'm letting you know I'm here, and I'm very just like, you'll see that I'm here. It's very clear that I'm here. I'm 6'3". My presence isn't small.
She told me that she got teed up a few times at the lower levels, AAU in high school, because she got a little, with that little trash talk.
Tia, when we played AAU, used to always talk to the girls that were guarding me when I would be doing good.
She would try to psych them out, out your assignments?
Yes, and they'd be looking at me, and I'm like, I'm not saying anything. That's all her.
Hold that thought. Thompson missed the dunk, and that's the second time they've tried to go rim and come up empty. But you were saying Tia would go up to your post assignments and then try to psych them out?
Tia would go talk trash to the girl that was guarding me, and then she'd be getting mad at me, and I'm like, I'm not saying anything. I was that girl that helped everyone up.
Well, another offensive foul called on Springfield. So the Lakers taking some bumps here. They are not holding anything back here, the Lakers, defensively. Long two is off the mark from Love. Battle for the board. Tips back to Love. Three on the way. Lakers still have yet to find their three-point stroke. And that hurt them a little bit in the home opener against Rochester. They weren't able to knock down threes. Rochester, they had a couple of three-point sharpshooters, but here they come in transition. Thompson, another miss. No matter the level, I think any coach will tell you, you've got to make the bunnies.
That was good hustle by the Lakers. Two of them got on the floor to get that loose ball.
Lee Moore for three. No good. Bosek go board. Shovel pass out to Smith. Reset. So the Lakers showing their hustle, but they've got to finish some plays down low. Bosek, three ball, corner pocket. Much needed bucket for the Lakers. Just over 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Chandler. Sidestep, no good. Rebound by Smith. Through the needle. He had the slimmest of margins, but he finds Thompson down low for the score.
Both these teams are giving up too many layups. You got to play better defense in the paint.
26-25. These are two teams that aren't afraid to score. And we have the makings of a shootout here. Springfield 5-1 outside of the forfeit against Kentucky. They have not scored fewer than 103 points.
Wow.
And I mean, you're seeing more of that in pro ball in the NBA too, with the Warriors and the Rockets, you know, and the Mavericks are kind of the trailblazers in that regard. But it's not easy to get 100.
It's because they've changed a lot of the rules around. People just like watching high-scoring games. It's more entertaining.
Until you get the 192-182 All-Star game. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Three. Swish. Brian Milford. That being said, there's still some defense. 28-26. And that will... Are they going to count it?
Now let's credit to Springfield, number 21. We're in the bonus. Lee Moore is the line for the Lakers.
Lee Moore at the line. They're going to give him... Okay. So they did not give him continuation. That threw me off for a little bit.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they called that as an and one or on the floor.
See, in college, when you were playing, you knew right away.
Yeah.
Those refs don't fool around. Tied at 28 with under a minute to play in the first. Walker missing the runner. And the rebound to Meach Williams. Williams fired the skip. Bosek wasn't ready for it. Panthers, this is going to be an easy two. Maybe the easiest two they get all game.
Both teams are doing really well in transition offense, but they both need to pick it up when it comes to transition defense. Both teams have given up so many easy layups.
There's another one. Williams got the crossover move down low and nothing to show for it. It feels like they're in a sandstorm when they get to the rim, don't they?
A little bit.
Sorry, I'm seeing Deadpool 2 tonight. I'm getting myself warmed up for it. Second chance for the Panthers, and they're going to get free throws out of it. Michael Chandler to the line. I know you've been in Iowa, but let's just say my affinity for pop culture references has only expanded since I last covered you or got to work alongside you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At most of my jobs, I'm known for bad puns, one-liners.
Now you got some pop culture references in your back pocket.
Oh, yes. The MCU and Deadpool have made it cool to be a smart aleck. Michael Chandler makes the first. 8.4 left, so the Panthers are in the bonus, although they won't have much time to use it. Chandler cannot get the second. So the Lakers have time for one more. Love. He's going to go all the way, and that's the move they were looking for down low. Latrell Love with a pair off the bench. That's good if it goes. Almost.
In and out.
And there's a little kid who's enamored or intrigued by my stuff over there. 31-30 is our score at the end of quarter number 1. Chase, I was thinking about that conversation you had with Tia trash talking all of your opponents, and it's the mental aspect plays a big part in that, because it seemed to have worked where your post assignments were getting angry at you when it was Tia who was the one riling them up.
Yeah, that was really annoying. I hated when Kanisha did it too. They both did it all the time. Yeah.
Well, it seemed to work. Did it work for you though?
I mean, it didn't really do anything for me. I would just be like, shut up, you guys, don't do that.
No wonder why you chose Iowa. You couldn't handle any of them. You were sick of these trash talkers. But speaking of Kanisha, how excited are you that she's going to get a chance to play under Lindsay Whalen next year?
That's really exciting for her. I remember meeting Lindsay Whalen at like camps when I was little, and like going like to Lynx games and like saying hi after her. She's an amazing player, and I think she's going to be a great coach, and Kanisha's so lucky to get to be playing for her.
And on another note, how relieved are you that you won't have to go against her next year? You won't have to face a Lindsay Whalen team.
I think that would have been a lot of fun to play against her. So I'm very much going to miss basketball, I think. I think when season rolls around and I'm like just sitting on the sides, I'm going to have fun, but I'm also going to be like, darn, I wish I was on the bench too.
Well, if we'll have a mic for you if you want to hang around the game.
All right, cool, thanks.
And you've got your sister, Kendall, at St. Louis Park to cheer for.
Yeah, I love watching her. She's a string bean.
I've heard a lot of good things about her. In fact, I guess Minnesota has even reached out to her from what I heard.
Mm-hmm. I think they offered her.
Minnesota's made her an offer. When did you get your first offer? Because I know you went to Iowa and had a few other schools. Do you remember when you got that first college offer?
I think it was early junior year. Something around that. That was so long ago. It was like five or 6 years ago now almost.
I had hair back then, or more of it. Lee Moore knocks down a three-pointer, and that's the first one. And the Lakers trying to catch the Panthers. It almost worked, but I think the Lakers are going to step up the pressure here. That's what they're trying to do. Now, of course, Kendall has a couple of years before she has to worry about making her choice. But for you, when you got that first offer, or when hearing that Kendall gets your first offer from Lindsay Whalen in Minnesota, how exciting is that for a player like yourself or Kendall to get?
It's really exciting. It's really exciting because Kendall grew up in the gym. Me and my dad dragged her everywhere with us, but she liked it for the most part. My dad has both of our first letters framed and hanging up next to each other in our living room.
I remember reading an ESPN article about you and your dad saying that Kendall was a better player than you were at her age, and I'm not going to make that proclamation, but...
Oh, she is.
She is. Well, you can go ahead and say that. I'm not going to, because the last thing I need to do is, stay on track with the Springfield Panthers up-tempo play here. Walker with the bucket, and the Panthers, just like that, retake the lead. They're up by 5. Quick 7-0 run. And then a foul on Jeremy Kimball.
It's nuts looking at the benches. The Panthers have one person on the bench, and the Lakers have a whole nother team and a half on the bench.
And it's the Panthers who've been up by 5 and have been showing a little more poise here.
Mm-hmm.
So if Kendall's a better player than you are, do you think she can make a run at your blocks record?
Yes.
More for 3.
Probably.
Bullseye. Is she Is she a blocker or is she more of a slasher?
I think she's more of a blocker.
As I send this scouting report to all these people watching, so when they play St. Louis Park next year. Now, I guess I should say which record, because you have the season record and the career record.
I would love for her to beat them all, but we'll see what she does. She plays a little bit different than I do. She plays more on the perimeter.
And that's why, like I said, I'm not going to say who's better than others, because every player is a little different. Even the Hill sisters. I've had a chance to see Taylor, Morgan, Jade, and they all play a little differently. And Latrell Love was wide open down low. Easy dime for Bosek, easy bucket for Love.
Those are the easy buckets I'm talking about that they can't give up. You got to make them take contested outside shots.
38 all, deep three. No good from Walls, and the rebound going to Williams. Love with the reverse this time. Love, he can provide you some scoring off the bench with that inside play of his. And the Lakers respond with a 7-0 run to counter the Springfield 7-0 run. Elbow J off the mark, rebound Williams. Meech Williams loses control, and he's smarting after that one. Wanted that one back. Kimball finds Milford. He fires the three. That goes off the rim. And here's Love.
Panthers were having more success earlier when they pushed it down the court and waited for those openings, getting easy looks, and now they're taking a few contested shots in a row and haven't scored in the last 3 possessions.
Lee Moore knocks down his 3rd triple, so after the Lakers struggled from beyond the arc in the first quarter, Lee Moore giving them a spark here. Springfield can't get the answer. But a no board. Chandler will try. That's no good. Meech Williams collects another board. Lee Moore. What a move! Woo! Lee Moore bait him with a fake, and Meech Williams with a score. Springfield calls a timeout. Oh, I love that. I love the trickery. My favorite plays are the back door, actually, but that was beautiful. Chase is at a loss for words.
I am. I'm still kind of processing what just happened. I'm looking over at the court deciding what just happened right now.
That's what a great fake does, though.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what just happened. So.
I like your word. Very tricky. You said trickery. You love the trickery.
Breaking ankles, trickery. Oh, I love it too. But it's interesting that you mentioned that you're hoping Kendall breaks all your records, because we go back to someone like Tia, who holds the school record for most points at Tartan. And they've got some great players coming up like Azaria Chevrolet, and Tia is like, I don't want my record to be broken.
If it was anyone else, I wouldn't, but it's my little sister. She's my prized possession. She's my little angel.
And how long before, now you've got another brother and sister.
I have a 4-year-old brother and a 2-year-old sister.
Yep. So how long before they get their first college offer?
I don't know. They're gonna be little. Their mom is short.
Well, their mom is short, but you've got the dad. You've got your father's side. I guess we'll have to see how the genes play out.
They'll just have to be point guards.
The what?
So they'll just have to be point guards.
Hey, point guards are. You can never have too many of those.
Necessary sometimes.
Hey, look at Lindsay Whalen.
Yeah.
Sarah Scally out at Stillwater. Becky Hammond went from a point guard to probable head coach for an NBA team someday. Don't be hating on those point guards.
Always fight with.
If it wasn't for the point guards, you wouldn't. Wasn't for the point guards like Lucia Renikoff, or I don't know who you got to work with in Iowa. Well, Samantha Logic, I should say. How could I forget her? If it wasn't for those point guards, where do you think you'd be?
Dribbling the ball down myself.
You're seeing more of that, though, actually, the stretch fours now. Candace Barker comes to mind. She can kind of that 5-tool player.
Yep.
Lakers with the steal and another, well, not quite empty. Williams was blocked. This time he'll get the finish, so the Lakers stay with it, get the bucket, but the Panthers have made it clear they're not going to make it easy. And Denzel Walker,
he's just been finding a way to get to the basket over and over and over again.
And he's up to 15 points.
He's got that Euro step down in the paint.
If you've got that Euro step down, you can do a lot of damage. Williams on the back door.
There's your back door.
I love the back door. That's my favorite play. And then Williams with the steal. Short on the three. But that pressure defense off inbounds is starting to pay dividends for the Lakers. They lead by 9, their largest, and there's a bailout foul there on Kenny Bass.
Williams is playing great full court defense. He's gotten his hands on. He's been getting his hands on a lot of passes and getting on the floor for loose balls. He's come up with a lot of steals for them. And
he only has 6 points, which goes to show you how much the other intangibles can pay dividends as well. Denzel Walker,
with
forget the dividends.
Layup.
Forget the dividends. He's got a high interest thing going on right now. He's up to 17. And we've got free throws coming for number 20, Ernest Clayton. What do you make of the stretch 4 era in basketball? Because you got Candace Parker, Rebecca Brunson is a three-point shooter now. Is that something you ever envisioned?
Yeah, I feel like I saw the game moving towards that when I was in high school, because that's kind of what my dad tried to push me to be, but I shied away from it a little bit. But I love watching like the tall girls that can go inside and go out on the perimeter. Just very agile big girls.
Well, it helped the Sparks win the title in 2016 because you had Parker and Nneka Ogwumike, who she and then Sylvia Fowles last year. I'm wondering, to me it's a matter of when, and I'm hoping it happens soon. Those two in consecutive years threatened to break the all-time field goal percentage record in a season. But of course, being starters, getting a lot of shots up, it's hard to maintain. That being said, Fowles in her MVP year, and Ogwumike, the year before, both shot in the mid-60s. There are a lot of players who would kill to have a field goal percentage in the 50s.
Yeah.
And
my
Terrence
teammate
Walls.
Megan Gustafson, All-American for Iowa, had, I think it was high 60s. She had a 60% field goal percentage this year.
Walls knocks down his third three-pointer, and the Lakers say right back at you with Ronaldo Kelly, and the Lakers are not shying away from using their entire bench. I've run out of room on the score sheet. It only goes up to 12. The Lakers have put in 13. It was like that time where you scored 49 and broke my score sheet, Chase, against New Richland.
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago, but I remember it as if it were yesterday. One of the few games where there was a packed house, and I guess maybe that prepped you for those hostile environments.
I mean, it was full because I think our boys played right after.
It was full, but in your game, it was mostly New Richland fans.
There were a lot of people at that game, I remember.
Oh, I love it. I love a packed house. Men or women.
I feel like a full packed high school gym is even more fun than like a full college arena.
Well, I may have to throw some salt, or I may have to throw a little salt on that. Salt, what am I saying? Gas. Salt. Salt on the wound. Fuel to the fire. I need to get my idioms straightened out. But the reason I say that, because we've got free throws coming for Walker. Game 5 of last year's finals at Williams Arena, 14,000 screaming Lynx fans. I don't know if you can top that environment.
Yeah, that's fun.
Waylon winning a championship at the place where she became a household name.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
One of my favorites to be at.
Williams Arena is just that's a very nice arena.
That's right. You got to play there at State. And
I feel like all
college.
Minnesota kids grow up and just love Williams Arena. A bunch of my teammates at Iowa and other schools are just like, that's a weird place.
Well, it is because it's Meach Williams scores. He's up to 8. It is a weird place because, well, it's kind of like this.
I think you just have to grow up in Minnesota to appreciate it and love it. Because all like the Minnesota girls that like left and went and played somewhere else love playing at Williams Arena because it's just got such a cool environment. But all the other girls are like, I feel like I'm gonna fall off. I feel like I'm gonna fall off the court.
And that never happened to you, right? Falling off?
Nope.
Lee Moore avoids the strip attempt by Chandler. We've got a 3. And I'll say this, we have not had any need for a shot clock at all.
I was just thinking about that. I looked at it.
I
think that's the lowest it's gotten, and it was only at 9.
9, 8. I don't think we've seen anything go down to the last 5 seconds. Michael Chandler scores. It has an all-star feel to this, doesn't it?
A little bit.
And it's not that they aren't playing defense, it's just the game. These athletes are so good. It's a quick pace. Lee Moore, his 4th triple.
There's a lot of very explosive players on the court on both teams.
5 minutes left in the second quarter. 58-51 is our score. Nothing called. I'm a little surprised. But the Panthers make the most of it. Terrence Walls, he and Lee Moore are going after it behind the arc. They both have 4 triples. On a related note, how many triples did you get in high school or college?
I couldn't even tell you, but quite a few.
Lee Moore missed there. Was looking for his 5th three-pointer. And the Panthers, they'll hang on to it, much to the dismay of the Lakers bench. But the reason why I think Williams carries nostalgia, I may not be the biggest fan of it, but I understand why. You have that old school feel, and because it was built almost 100 years ago, the fans are right on top of you. Kind of like those old stadiums, Chicago Stadium, the old Boston Garden. So it feels like you're walking into an arena where everyone is rooting against you in the case of the Sparks last year.
Yeah.
Or in your case, well, when you pay to visit. But I can understand why so many folks enjoy it because you get that feel and you feed off of it. And Milford looking to feed some energy to his Panthers team. You know, Waylon knows all about it. Although I think they're going to enjoy the renovated Target Center. We've got free throws coming for Dominique Dawson.
That's going to be exciting to see the new Target Center when they're done with it.
Well, they're done with it now, so the Lynx have moved in. I won't be at tomorrow's season opener because I'm here, but I'll be at the Wednesday game with Dallas, and I'll get my first chance to see it.
Well, I'm glad I'm off all summer, so I'll have time to stick around and go see some of those games.
Maybe we can get a credential for you.
All right, sounds
if writing is your thing. I don't know if it is. Dominique Dawson gets the front end. We haven't heard much from him, but again, the Lakers looking to win with depth here. They have played 13. The Panthers just have 6, but again, the Panthers not going away. You got Denzel Walker, who's just exploding on all cylinders. And they're knocking down their threes. Michael Chandler puts one in. He's up to 13. And the Panthers are finding a way to hang around with just 6 players.
Good defensive effort inside because they're lacking a lot of size, but they're doubling up on the big men down low.
And even with a smaller roster, well, it brings to mind the Minnesota-Alabama game this past year. It comes down to execution.
Yeah.
Remember, Alabama only had it was 5-on-3 for a good portion of the second half, and Alabama almost came back to win it. And here come the Panthers. That's going to be a charge. So even though the Panthers are up by 1, that's the 3rd time they've been hit with a charging call.
confused as to why that was a charge. I feel like his feet weren't set. I feel like that was an iffy call. The Panthers seem
Maybe
really
a
frustrated.
50-50?
Yeah.
So that basket did not count. It was, the score is now correct, 60-59. Jackson backs off. Jackson out of MCTC. Rock Rogers missing the three-pointer. There for the cleanup is Shamar Wilson for his first bucket.
No one loves charges more than Coach Bluter. She said it's a turnover for the team. They pick up a foul, and you get the ball. That's her favorite play. Wow. Wow.
That is as unscripted of a backdoor play as you're going to find.
That was a crafty little layup there.
That makes the score 62-61, 2:26 to go. If you're curious, the season high for the Panthers this year, 123. For the Lakers, 113, and that was the most recent game, a loss to Cedar Valley. It may be a battle of which offense scores more points.
Well, that just comes down to whatever team wants to decide to play defense.
Well, and as you mentioned, they both have a lot of explosive players. Defense, there still is defense, of course, but this is the type of game where efficiency may come to mind because you know you're going to get a lot of possessions. It's how many can you get with points out of it. Quinton Jackson out of MCTC gets on the board. Walls, the skip over to Chandler. Can't hit the three that time. Lakers in the bonus again. Smith to Rogers. And Rock Rogers will go to the line. Rochester Rogers out of Southwest Missouri State. I believe the same school that produced Onye Osimenum out of Maranatha. Oh, no, that was just Missouri State. In any event, interesting story behind Rock Rogers and the number 5. A college teammate of his several years ago was killed in a helicopter crash in New York, and in his honor, he was worn number 5 ever since.
That's really sweet. It's always fun to play for something bigger than yourself, even if it's such a sad circumstance like that. For our breast cancer game this year, our coach let us pick whose name we wanted to put on the back of all of our jerseys. So all of us picked a family member that was that had experienced or gone through breast cancer, and we all got to play with their names on our back.
Therese Smith scores, and now everyone on the Lakers roster has scored, but I've noted this no matter what level you play, whether it's family members, you see a lot of players who pray before games, things like that. Just as a reminder, as we've got free throws. No, side out here. It's a reminder, like you said, that amidst all the wins and losses and who wins the championship, there's a world out there.
Yep.
But
it's bigger than just a game.
And I think before every game, if I recall, you wore a piece of attire to honor your mother. Was there an ESPN article?
I used to play with her ankle bracelet under my sock. I wouldn't take it off, and I just put my socks over it.
Did you take that off at Iowa, or did it start to bother you a little bit?
No, I felt I didn't want it to get ruined because after doing that so much, and
I suppose because it's an heirloom.
Yep, it's in my jewelry box.
So free throws will be coming after that delayed wipe-up condensation for Brian Milford. And when you only have 6, this is a number you like to see, 4 double-digit scores for Springfield in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And you like to see that period, but when you have so few players to draw from, you need that production out of everybody.
It's very good to get production out of everybody because the defense can't focus in or key in on one particular player. You have to guard everybody.
That makes it 68-63. Largest lead for either side has been 9. And another miss down low. The Lakers, they've been able to convert a few times, but you feel if they put down a few more bunnies, as they're going to concede free throws to Michael Chandler, if they put down a few more bunnies, they'd have a pretty sizable lead at this point.
I feel like both teams have been missing a lot of really easy shots.
And ironically, we're talking about all the missed bunnies, and here we are at a 68-63 game. The way we're talking, you'd think it was 40-39 or something.
A little bit. It's just going so fast. It's down and back, down and back, down and back. It's like a ping pong game.
And did you ever have any games like that in college?
We had a few games like that, but Coach Buter would always call a timeout after a while and be like, okay, we're done trading baskets.
Well, right, and in the college game, it's a bit slower, just a 30-second clock.
She wouldn't care if we scored, because if they're scoring the same rate as we are, it doesn't matter.
Last touch by Springfield, 58.7 left in the second quarter. 14 on the shot clock. Although the way these teams have played, we haven't had to worry about shot clock violations at all. Rogers double teamed, and then he draws a foul, ended up with the ball. Talked about a fortuitous series of events.
Panthers team seems very frustrated with the calls right now.
Well, and they've been hit with a lot of fouls in this first half. They're going to have to be careful in the second. You do get the extra foul at the pro level, semi-pro or NBA, but you still got to watch for it. So you mentioned your affinity for Williams Arena, and I asked who your maybe toughest player was to go against. What was your favorite venue to play in college?
Ooh. That's a hard. Ooh, I like the Big Ten tournament. I like the environment. We played in an arena. And
Chandler with the rejection.
Big block down low.
You've had a few of those.
Yeah.
But the Big Ten, I think this past year, what did they have it this past year?
Indiana.
Okay, so they did go back to the Bankers Life, Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Yep, Indianapolis.
Persistence pays off for the Lakers. Rock Rogers scores. And the Lakers up by 7. I will say Bankers Life Fieldhouse, my favorite venue of every facility I have visited. I went there to cover 2 WNBA finals. And the way they pay tribute to their basketball history and even the racing history, it feels a very warm and inviting place. I love that facility.
I think it's fun, yeah.
I love that place.
I've had some good memories there.
My least favorite, Allstate Arena, where the Sky used to play. Now they're playing at the new Wintrust Arena, sharing it with DePaul, but Allstate Arena, consider yourself fortunate you didn't have to play there.
It was really interesting. Northwestern started reconstructing
right,
their gym.
So you actually
we played at a high school.
You played at Evanston High School.
Yeah. Which was, their colors were orange and blue, so I felt like we were back in Washburn.
It felt like back at Washburn. And, well, we see it looks like Walker and Therese Smith sharing a word as we get the court dried again. I guess if there's any indication of how much these teams have been going at it, having to stop the game to dry up the floor.
Yeah, there's been a lot of bodies diving for the loose balls. And
believe it or not, I went to Carver Hawkeye once.
You did?
Before you joined. Theara Taylor was playing at the time.
Yep.
Went down there for a game, and it's a nice venue.
It is nice.
And what it's interesting about it is there's no like middle concourse. Right, it's a big giant fishbowl. Walker missing both free throws.
Yep, the last time I was in Carver was this past Saturday for graduation. So my dad said it was only appropriate that I started my experience in Carver and ended it there too.
Rock Rogers off balance, no good. And the Lakers won't get the tip in. And that ends a frenetic, explosive first half, 71-64. The Lakers showing a little more poise, maybe getting a few more plays their way with that pressure defense of theirs, but either way, this is going to be a fun second half.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll take a break and bring you some first half stats and analysis. This is the Midwest Basketball League. The Lakers lead the Panthers 71-64. Mike Peden and Chase Coley back with you at the High School for Recording Arts. The Lakers lead the Panthers 71-64. And if the score doesn't tell you, if you liked offense, we had a whole lot of it in the first half.
There's a lot of shots put up in a very short amount of time.
Let's just say that's a score that's commonplace for most games.
At this rate, they will have 140 points.
It would surprise me if we get there. Lee Moore leads the Lakers with 14 off the bench. He's got 4 3-pointers. Rochester Rogers has 12. For the Panthers, Denzel Walker has 19. Michael Chandler and Brian Milford have 13 each. Terrence Walls has 12.
I'm very curious just to see how the Panthers, how their stamina goes into the second half, because they only have one sub, and the Lakers have an entire team and a half on the bench, like I already said.
Right, they've put in 13
so
players in this game.
Let's see whose legs are going to last.
Well, if it were mine, it would maybe last for a quarter, and that would be it.
You should go play the last quarter. Go ask the Panthers. They probably need a sub. Go ask if they have an extra jersey.
And I know you've only been reminded a few times, but at least in terms of the taping date, it is Chase's birthday.
It's my birthday today. I'm 22.
So it's your birthday. You just got your degree. Life must be treating you well right now.
Life is treating me very well. I get to be home with my little siblings. I get to come here and watch this game, and I get to go out to dinner later. I have my degree. I can go start looking for jobs if I want. I can do whatever I want.
Well, what did you get your degree in?
International Business and Development.
Well, Tia might be able to give you might know a thing or two about business. That's what she got her degree in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the two of you should get together.
We should just start a company, be co-CEOs.
Well, right. You're more of the behind-the-scenes stoic figure. Tia, being the trash talker that she was, not afraid to not afraid to get her name out there.
Mm-hmm.
I could see you two are going to be our new power couple in business.
Yep.
And Denzel Walker is being the power. I don't know what to call him. He's powered up. 22 points. And we saw this in the first half. The Panthers getting some fast break looks. The 3-pointers. Although Denzel Walker was stripped. And the Lakers can't save it there.
Deep three. A very deep three.
That was Steph Curry range.
A little bit. No, Curry's range is ridiculous. Curry's range is back to half court.
I've often said in the NBA there's 3-point range and then there's Steph Curry range. And you know what? His game is trickling down to the lower levels.
What do you mean?
Panthers don't get a 3 that time from Michael Chandler. Well, Sarah Scalia of Stillwater, for example, she was Lindsay Whalen's first announced recruit. She'll be a senior, so she'll sign the NLI next year. But she can hit threes from maybe a little bit in front of that blue line.
That's crazy. Playing against girls like that are the worst because when you guard them, you can't give them even an arm's length. You have to be in their face all the way up to half court, and especially when they're small and quick and they just run around. Coaches have them running off screen shooting because you feel like you have your hand in their face and then they drill it, and it's just like, what's the point of even playing defense right now?
That's probably how most opponents feel about going against the Warriors.
Probably.
Denzel Walker draws the foul. He'll shoot 2.
Yeah,
he
but
missed
then
both the last time.
worrying
up.
about Steph Curry, but then you also have to worry about Kevin Durant.
Draymond Green. Speaking of trash talkers.
Yeah, he's hilarious. I don't think anyone's funnier than Russell Westbrook.
He's going to be... Green, there's a case that he could take over for Charles Barkley someday as just the outspoken figure. But Wildcard up to 27, and the Panthers start the second half with an 8-0 run. They trail by 7. They're up by 1 now. Like I said, you see a lot of back and forth in these games. And the long 2 is good for Kenny Bass. But Green is highly studious of the game as well. I think a year or two ago he said he sometimes learns more watching the WNBA.
I've heard a lot of guys, I think all men's basketball players are very appreciative of women's basketball.
And that much, I mean, you saw Pau Gasol making a case for Becky Hammon. I don't think it's any secret because the men, they know what the women go through because they do it too. So you don't see a lot of animosity between the men's and women's players because they all respect each other.
I think the women's game and the men's game are they're similar in some ways and different in others. And I do feel like men learn a lot from women's games just like we learn from like the moves that like Chris Paul and Steph Curry do.
Your idol, if I recall, was Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I love Tim Duncan.
I remember the All-Star game you told me, your favorite player, Tim Duncan. The quintessential Spur, if you will. No putback for Kenny Bass. And the rebound is picked up by Denzel Walker.
A few more missed bunnies down low.
No three-pointer for Chandler. Board, though, goes to Walls. Chandler will drive. Can't get the bounce. He had a double team to get through. And going after the rebound is Jackson. Nice ball movement by the Lakers, and it pays off with Dominique Dawson banking one off the glass.
The Lakers bench is getting really into it right now, and I can't help but laugh.
Well, Latrell Love is on there right now, and as I said, he's one of the more animated members of this team. So when he's on the bench, you're going to know it. When he's on the floor, you're going to know it. Kind of like Tia.
A little bit.
Kenny Bass scores in transition. And you know what? As long as you can control it, you know, Draymond Green comes to mind. Yeah, we joke about him getting technicals and getting mouthy, but Diana Taurasi is like that too. They know when to separate it. And we have a technical. It's going to go against Minnesota. And it's on Dominique Dawson. I didn't see what transpired there.
Neither did I. There was a lot of people talking. He seems frustrated with that call.
Did that ever happen to you?
Get a technical? I've gotten a couple technicals. Only one was actually from getting mad, I think, though. That I remember. I think it was like freshman year of high school. I slammed the ball to the ground. Then another time I got one because I had like a barrette in my hair.
Okay, so
so mine have been like really minor, like.
So a technical for a piece of equipment that isn't allowed. Then.
Yeah.
Not over behavior. It's just they have to give you a technical.
One was behavior, and like I've had a couple for like the barrettes and stuff.
It's like if you have the wrong jersey number, they have to issue a technical because of the rule. That's how the rules are. Okay, so only once.
Only once.
Taurasi, Green, and those. As long as you know when to, if you leave it on the floor, I don't mind that. What makes Diana Taurasi such a fun player?
Yeah.
For example.
I like watching old tapes of Reggie Miller and the things he used to say. He's hilarious.
And Michael Jordan, of course, pretty good trash talker himself.
Yeah. Oh, people are hilarious.
He was my favorite, still is.
I have a lot of teammates that like would start talking on the court, and I just have to grab them and be like, "Come on, let's walk away."
With that, the lay-in, Meach Williams goes to 10. 79-73. And then, I guess, going back to your favorite guys, Tim Duncan, and of course, grew up with David Robinson, the Admiral, and the Spurs are almost the antithesis of, like teams like the Warriors or those other figures. You almost never hear them in the news for being outlandish like that.
I miss the era of Kevin Garnett and Rajon Rondo and Ray Allen at the Celtics. I loved that team. I think that was my favorite team.
The big three.
Yep.
Michael Chandler drives and scores. He's up to 7. The only starter who has yet to reach double figures, but it probably won't be that way for long. 3 on the way is short for Meach Williams. And the rebound goes to Walker. He finds Chandler. Chandler blocked by Kenny Bass. Rock Rogers. Here he comes. Coast to coast. And he's up to 14. 81-75. 3. That's off the mark from Walls. And this is where, third or fourth, we're going to see if that stamina plays a factor. Another transition look for Rogers, and that makes it an 8-point game. Timeout Springfield. Gives me a chance to take down more of this mushroom Swiss burger. There's a food truck here, and that's something the Lakers are trying to do, get a community sense going, so they're looking for food truck partners for their remaining home games. And they also do some work with Boys Totem Town to help at-risk students, give them some guidance and leadership.
Well, that's cool. I think food trucks are the most delicious food options. Taco trucks are my favorite. And we have one down in Iowa, and it's a bunch of Jamaican food. So me and my roommates go to the taco truck and the Jamaican food truck all the time. Meals on wheels. Love it.
What are you going to miss most about being an Iowa Hawkeye and wearing the black and gold?
My friends and my coaches get so mad at me, and I think I'm so weird for saying this, but I'm going to miss shorts. It's a restaurant in Iowa City, and all they have is burgers and fries and beer and bacon cheese fries.
Beer? Well, I suppose you're of age now.
Oh, I'm of age. So on Monday nights, they have a deal. It's like a $6.99 burger basket, and it's the best burgers ever. There's like probably 30 burgers on their menu, and they're all delicious. So me and my roommates go there and get a burger and bacon cheese fries with garlic aioli and a Blue Moon every Monday night this semester. It was like a little ritual. We do that, and then we go to the library.
You almost had me wanting to go check that place out.
I want to go back.
Can you take me with?
Yeah, sure.
Take me with on a Monday night. It's only a 5-hour drive. So here's my thing. Why do your teammates and your coaches think it's weird that that's what you're going to miss most?
They're like, oh, you're not going to miss us? You're not going to miss basketball, your roommates? I'm like, I'm going to miss shorts so much because I can FaceTime you. I can call you. I can look at pictures.
Can you get putbacks like Meach Williams can? Can you get putbacks like he can?
Maybe.
But go ahead, finish that story of yours. You said you...
No, they just think it's really weird that the thing I'm going to miss most is just a tiny little burger restaurant.
We've got a foul on the Lakers. You've always had, I guess ever since I've known you, you've always had, there's a part of you that kind of, I don't want to say do your own thing, but where you seemingly embrace sort of being a
I very much do my own thing.
Right. You embrace being the oddball. I don't know if that's the right word for it.
I embrace my personality and all my weird characteristics. I love them.
And that's what all your old AAU teammates said about you, is it's like, you're weird and you embrace it. That's what they love about you.
Yep, that's me.
But I know what you mean. I mean, I can still go there anytime, but at the U of M, one of my go-tos, Annie's Parlor.
Ooh, my mom used to go to Annie's all the time with her roommates. So we go to Annie's a lot when we are on campus.
Their malts. Oh, those malts. I love those malts.
I like the fries.
Yep, their malts and fries are a real thriller.
It's delicious.
I was looking at to see how long before you picked up on that.
Oh, right, because Thriller's
Yo,
playing.
you missed that? You didn't realize?
I didn't even notice.
You didn't notice that?
I did not know where you were going with that.
Let's be real. Do you ever know where I'm going with anything?
Sometimes.
Rogers missed the three. Michael Chandler with authority. And since we're in Minnesota, not in Springfield, that doesn't elicit much applause. Because the last thing you want to do is have your opponent dunk on you.
But that's the best thing when you're playing in an away facility and you can just silence it, make the whole home crowd just.
Well, Rock Rogers with the answer. The Lakers up by 10. Walker's going to shoot more free throws. Another favorite of mine when I traverse through the area, State Street Brats in Madison.
Never been there.
Well, that's because you were a Hawkeye, not a Badger. State Street Brats, it's on State Street, as you can imagine, so it's in that annex between the state capitol and the Wisconsin-Madison campus, and I've said of all the brats I've had or places that serve them, they do it justice. It's a nice little
every year
getaway.
that we went to play at Wisconsin, when we get there the night before, if like you had family or friends around, our coaches would let us go hang out with them. So Natalie Holdog went to Wisconsin, and so did Allie Crocker and Megan. What's Megan's last name? Lucas. So they all went to Wisconsin. So whenever I'd go there, they'd take me out to dinner when our bus got to the hotel. So we'd walk downtown Madison, and we'd always go get Italian food at this one restaurant. I think it's really important for the Panthers to cut this lead down, ending this quarter, so they're not struggling to dig themselves out of a hole when they get into the fourth quarter.
I was going to say, when you went to Wisconsin, did you ever hang out with Caleb McMorris at all, or was that kind of awkward being a teammate or being an opponent of hers?
I'd go see Kayla. I saw her when she came to Iowa City, because usually it's like during a weeknight and people have homework and like they have like team stuff they do the night before a game. And Kayla didn't have a car on campus, so she wasn't anywhere near me. But I see Kayla so much at home. I talk to Kayla, Tia, Kanisha, Tanoa, Alexis, Alexander, and Natalie all the time.
She just got her degree from South Dakota State.
Yep, I was with her yesterday, and I'm going to see her again tonight for my birthday dinner.
Well, that's something that Tia told me.
Me and those girls all got kind of stuck together.
Kenny Bass scoring 92-82, and that's something that Tia told me, and this is what I think folks miss the most about basketball, although you said you got FaceTime, social media, and other things, but you know, that North Tartan team, that lineup was a fierce one.
It was. And we had a lot of fun.
Dominic Dawson having some fun, and the Lakers look like they're in position here to maybe get that knockout blow. Still a ways to go, but that lead is growing. And here comes Quinton Jackson, who will get the layup in transition. 96 points in 2.5 quarters. Kenny Bass with a block. Lee Moore, one-on-one, lost the dribble. but they're going to score anyway. Chase, I think the opposite just happened of what you advised Springfield to do.
A little bit.
Lakers now up by 16, their largest lead of this game.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard lead to cut down in the next 4 minutes and 20 seconds, so most likely going to go into that last quarter down a little bit.
So you mentioned earlier, Chase, that you can do what you wish with that degree of yours. What are you hoping to accomplish in your career now that you have that degree and you're ready to go out and take over the world like Pinky and the Brain used to do?
I don't know. With my degree, or in my major, I learned a lot about the indistribution of wealth in America, and I just feel like a lot of the things we learned about were about children and all over the world that are just in positions that aren't going to necessarily, like, I want to be in a position to help put kids in a position to be successful in life. So I really want to work with kids that are like in underprivileged situations and that come from struggling homes maybe, and just keep them on the right track. I just love children. I would very much love to work with kids in a company or a business that has a positive impact on them.
And another offensive foul. You saw a little celebratory gesture from Quinton Jackson getting Lee Moore, as he's the one who took the charge, but I'd say that's one difference that has tilted this game in Minnesota's favor. Their willingness to take charges.
Yeah. Putting your body on the line like that for your team shows a lot of heart.
Well, they might be a little sore after the weekend slate of games that you and I are doing, but in the moment it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody. I remember Kayla McMorris telling me once she was apprehensive about taking charges.
I remember on our AAU team, our coach said we have 10 charge takers on this team and 1 shot blocker, and I got to be the shot blocker, so I was very grateful. I don't think I got a charge call my entire college career.
No, I know.
I tried to take a few, and watching film the next day, our coaches would just laugh at me. They'd be like, all right, wait, look at this. This isn't a highlight, but let's make fun of Chase quick.
Is there anyone who doesn't like making fun of you?
I think I'm funny, but I think all my friends just like laughing at me. They tell me I'm not funny.
Well, I find you hilarious.
Yes, that's good.
Latrell Love scores. That Lakers lead continuing to grow. 100 points, and we still have 3.5 to play in the third. But another foul on Minnesota, and that's going to send the Panthers to the line. Now, I know, of course, in college there are a lot of variables, but I imagine, what if you took that AAU team you had at North Tartan, and if they were all in one college team? I know it doesn't work that way, but just that group.
We'd have a lot of fun, I know that.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Denzel Walker, 31 points unofficially. He's had a busy day today for Springfield, but
he's been on the floor a lot. He's gotten knocked down a lot, going to the basket.
Well, but he knows, you've got to, especially when you trail by 16 here, you got to keep plugging away. I'm sure that's what your coaches probably drilled into you whenever you went down by 10 or 15. It's like, all right, we got time to come back here.
Yep, you can't force up stuff. You just have to play the way you know how.
You never know when a run is coming. They do not call a foul on that play, although I didn't see any elbow or any contact. Just Michael Chandler and Kevin Thompson going after it. So
both teams being very aggressive right now.
It should just be a side down, and it will be. .303 left in the third quarter, 100-84 in favor of the Lakers. Rochester Rogers up to 22 points. Took him a little while to get going, but he had plenty of help off the bench. Lee Moore, Latrell Love. Lee Moore got them going from three-point range.
They seem to be figuring out the call over there and what they're going to do after that possession.
It looks like it was sorted out now.
There was no call on the ball. It is now in the possession of the Panthers.
Michael Chandler drains the three. And we play on. Lakers looking to respond. They will not. That was close for Ronaldo Kelly, but he could not get the bounce. And another transition bucket. I believe that was Chandler who scored. He's up to 11, and here come the Panthers again. It was an 18-point deficit. It's down to 11, and psychologically, you're always thinking as Lee Moore kicks out, 5 on the shot clock. Bosek pump fakes, fires from 15. It's rim, but no good. And that's going to put the Panthers at the line with a foul on Quinton Jackson. So if you're the Panthers, you'd love to enter the quarter break down by less than 10.
Yeah, I think they have a chance if they can cut it to 5 by the end of this quarter.
If a couple breaks go their way, it's possible. Chandler missing the front end. Springfield unofficially 14 of 19 from the free throw line. And he blanks. Jump ball is called. Minnesota thought they had it. And at this level, there's no possession arrow. We jump. But not before we have a substitution.
I think it'd be crazy if for women's basketball they did jump balls.
Well, they do in the WNBA.
No, but in college and for men's, I mean men's and women's in college.
Oh, so in the college game switch.
I feel like there's too many jump. I feel like there's just too many jump balls in college for them to like stop the game and jump every time.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the possession arrow. In high school, I get why you need it because some teams are smaller than others, but in college, I just think in college it can be anticlimactic.
And I feel like it slows down the game so much. You have to stop and get everything set up.
Right, because if you know you've got the arrow, it's like, all right, just hang on to the ball.
It's a big part of the game.
Right, hang on to the ball. You only need to do it for a second. That's going to go back to Springfield as the Lakers had a little slip up there. 1:40 left in the third quarter. Mike Peden and Chase Coley, the Iowa Hawkeye graduate. One of many Minnesota recruits to go to Iowa. You're part of a long list.
A little bit.
Theora Taylor, Camille Walling, Bethany Doolittle.
Callie Peschel.
Yes.
Hannah Stewart now, kind of.
Who now?
Hannah Stewart is from North Dakota, but she played at North Tartan, and her family moved to Minnesota recently.
And Kasheen Alexander.
Yep. I love Cash.
Who's coaching at Florida Atlantic. Started her career at North Dakota State, and great story on her end. Missed a semester due to academic problems, cleaned that up, and now she's making a difference for with the next generation of college athletes.
Yep. Yeah, I really like Cash. She's a great person.
Therese Smith scores. Yeah, your old head coach, Lisa Bluter, loves those Minnesota kids.
She does.
Less than a minute now. That was a tough shot with Latrell Love guarding him. Chandler couldn't put it down. Love collects the rebound. And in transition, Shamar Wilson out of Minneapolis North makes it a 104-89 game. And more free throws coming. As you said, Denzel Walker has been everywhere.
All over the place.
So you said you want to make a difference with kids. Are we going to see you coaching at some point, or is that not your thing?
I like coaching, but I like coaching little kids more.
So your two younger siblings, maybe on a traveling team then.
Mm-hmm. I'll help out my dad
But
with
you
coaching
wouldn't want to coach your
too.
sister. You wouldn't want to coach Kendall.
I have a couple times.
How surreal is that?
It's weird. She talks back to me too much. We fight. I can't coach her.
Well, you're sisters. Of course that's going to happen. She knows all of your buttons, you know. She tend to shoot. Lee Moore with the side fade. Can't knock down the three. Panthers can hope for the final shot, but they're not going to. Michael Chandler will try to convert from the line, but the Panthers have struggled a little bit. Denzel Walker, in particular, having trouble knocking them down, and I wonder, with all the contact he's taking, if that's not slowly starting to wear him down.
I could see that. I think the Panthers' legs are starting to go a little bit heading into this fourth quarter.
Well, Chandler knocks down the front end there. And that being said, this game's still far from over. He makes both. 10 to shoot, 10 to play. And Therese Smith takes a quick one. That's no good. Panthers have a chance. Walker, tried to go inside, and that almost went in. That would have counted. So Michael Chandler almost put that in. And number 10 is Michael Burke. I think I've been calling him Chandler most of the game. I wrote him in twice. But at 104-92 is the score. So Michael Burke has 13. Michael Chandler has 16. Well, I got the first name right.
12-point game, 12 minutes left. Just 1 point a minute without letting them score. It's that simple.
That's it. Well, and with 24 seconds and the pace of play here, they can make it up quickly. So I guess as we continue down this stroll of memory lane, what was your favorite memory from Iowa? We mentioned your favorite place to play, your favorite eatery, and all that stuff. What did you enjoy most?
The funny memories I've had with my teammates and coaches. In the locker room after the game, making Coach Bluter dance. Things that have happened in practice. I feel like our coaches trip a lot. They all trip over themselves, and it's so funny. Coach Jay gets really mad at me when I bring it up because I think she trips all the time. And then Coach Bluter got knocked down by Doyle in practice one day, and everyone else was so concerned. But I remember me and Coach Spitz were crying, laughing. We had to walk out of the gym. We were laughing so hard. It was hilarious.
You just like to laugh, don't you?
I love to laugh. That's all I like to do. That's my favorite thing. I love laughing. It was really funny when we went to the summer before my sophomore year, we went to Italy, and we were walking through all the street vendors and stuff, and they kept calling all the blonde girls like, "Oh, you look like Blake Lively," and they told me like, "Oh, you look like Rihanna." They were like telling us we looked like all these American celebrities, and we were having so much fun with that. We thought that was hilarious.
Who are you compared to?
Rihanna.
Was this before you went blonde?
Yes.
Because I'm kind of wondering if who they compare you to now since you decided to go blonde here.
Yeah, I don't know what my celebrity lookalike would be now.
You're a little taller than she is, too.
Yeah, I'm a little taller than everyone.
We are ready to start.
Yeah, unless it's Amanda Zowie B, you have to guard.
Yeah, I don't want to do that anymore.
Well, she's been playing for New York the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
The New York Liberty, and there's a little bit of confusion over who gets possession to start this fourth quarter.
The possession seems to go to the Panthers.
Honestly, at this rate, doesn't matter who gets the ball first.
Yeah.
We're going to have about 50 possessions at the end of the quarter. And Denzel Walker with 33 points, trying to keep his team around. 5-1 Springfield against 2-3 Minnesota. 3 is on the way. That's short from Smith. And it's picked up by Shamar Wilson. Latrell Love with the dish to Smith.
Another
That's no good.
Layup.
And that's not what you want if you're the Lakers. You want to have efficient possessions here being in the last quarter. Because as you've seen, the Panthers, they've got some three-point threats. And then you've got Denzel Walker, who's not going to quit. But his three is short. Moore picks it up. Goes behind the back to Bosek. Another bounce pass, and there's the finish.
There we go.
The Lakers have got the ball movement down. It's just finishing down low at times. Of course, it seems easy when we're here. I'm guessing when you went out there and had to do some of that stuff, it can be a little tricky.
A lot easier said than done.
Latrell Love with a fast break play. And that's the start Minnesota needed for this quarter. They're up 108-92. We talked about all the Minnesota kids impacting the Big Ten. We're going to get a few more next year. Monica Sonano going to Iowa. Carmen Backus heading over to Wisconsin. Therese Smith with the steal and the score. Walls. Ball's batted around. Moore with the steal. Therese Smith again.
So nice when they can make their layups. Just easy 2 points.
Well, Therese Smith had 4 points, I believe, until the fourth quarter. He's up to 10 now. And he's been finishing in transition. And the Lakers, that might be the knockout blow they've been looking for. Up by 20 with 9:50 to play.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to come back from, but it's been done.
So, you ready to do this again tomorrow?
Very excited.
You don't sound excited.
I'm very stoic.
That's right. You're a stoic, laughable figure.
Yeah.
But tomorrow's game will be the Chicago Fury, the lone undefeated team in the Southwest Division, so that will present the Lakers with another strong test.
Like we talked about earlier,
slate.
Do you think fatigue is starting to set in with the Panthers? Not having very many subs?
We've been talking about that, right. Only one sub, and the Lakers with a bunch. I think the other difference, too, Walker's struggling a little bit, and he's also struggled at the free throw line. So even though he has 33 points, which is a lot, even in a 48-minute game, he's left a few at the line.
Yeah.
And I think any basketball player will tell you how important free throws are.
Coach Bluter always talks about and emphasizes how every possession is important. So while the game may not come down to like the first 20 points at the beginning of the game, like looking back at like free throws at the end of a game, if you lose by 7 but you miss 11 free throws, well, that's the difference of the game. It's every little possession counts when you look at it in the grand scheme of things.
And if you're the Panthers, you just need to find ways to score. Minnesota doing a good job so far denying them the inside.
I think they have to make sure they get stops and not give up those easy buckets in transition and the easy layups that the Lakers were getting early.
That was just a balloon. Long two, no good, but the Lakers do have a 20-point cushion. And it could extend as Tamara Wilson will shoot free throws. Speaking of possessions, I know not every game comes down to this, but what did you make of Arike Ogunbowale hitting 2 game-winning three-pointer? Well, 1-2, 1-3, but hitting 2 game-winning shots in the Final Four.
I thought that was crazy. The one she hit in the championship game, I was like, there's no way. And when it happened, I remember my dad and my grandpa were all just looking around the room at each other, like, with our jaws on the floor, like, what in the world did we just watch? That was really cool.
Making one of them, I mean, is a big deal, but twice?
Mm-hmm.
Even Kobe Bryant, as you probably noticed, as Wilson gets the front end, Arike appeared on Ellen, and they brought Kobe Bryant because that was the player she idolized growing up.
Yeah.
And Kobe just remarked how, in spite of all of his titles, he never had that moment. Well, he didn't go to college, but in the pros, he never had a game-winning shot at the buzzer.
That's crazy. No, we were all – it's just, like, really exciting to see.
And she's a North Tartan product.
Yeah. It's really nice to see,
So
like,
a little
success
North
from
Tartan love.
Yeah, it's really cool. We were laughing about it because that happened UConn. It was, like, the same shot she hit against UConn that William hit the year before.
The previous year,
it
with
was
Mississippi
like
State.
The same thing.
And Bosek won't have a dunk to add to the highlight reel, at least not there. As much as we love dunks, it can't be. That is a bucket. One of the spectators next to us said, that's bucket. And indeed it was, a 3-point bucket to be precise. And looks like the Lakers are indeed going to go to 3-3. Yeah, they just have too much firepower.
Okay.
I was wondering if this was how it was going to play out. The Panthers did a great job in the first half, but 13 against 6.
Yeah.
It's tough to beat those kinds of odds or those kinds of numbers.
They're walking back in transition. Their legs are just clearly gone.
This is turning into a clinic. But yes, buzzer beaters. That's the thing every person dreams of. I never got to make one, but I can't say I was there to see Amaya Moore get her buzzer beater in Game 3 of the 2015 finals. And I had the same reaction you did when Arike did her thing.
That's fun.
Where I did, well, I think my jaw dropped and I was like, are you kidding me? Those are the moments you live for.
Yeah. I think the moments you live for, I feel like, yeah, she's going to remember that for the rest of her life, but I think she's going to remember her teammates tackling her and, like, how much fun that was probably in the locker room after that.
Michael Chandler gets a dunk down, but I don't know if the Lakers or the Panthers have enough time. 120-98 is the score. How about this for the Lakers? They had not scored more than 103 in any of their games, 113 I should say, and the fourth quarter, I don't know if they'll be putting it down as much, but they picked up 120, and Michael Burke, who's number 10, not Michael Chandler, misses down low, but looks like we're seeing a little more of a token defense here now.
Yeah, I feel like the Panthers have really lost a lot of their energy. The last couple drives to the bucket haven't gone down for them. I think kids are popping more balloons in the hallway.
I hope that's what it is.
I'm really hoping that's what it was.
I think that is what it is. If it were something else, we probably wouldn't be here.
I'd have been gone.
I would have followed you. I don't know how fast you could sprint, but I'd probably be right behind you. 122-98. Well, the Lakers are still having fun.
That's a very loud, active, up and down bench.
I'm not sure you'd fit in with that team.
Oh, I'd have fun.
Oh, you'd have. Well, you're not that loud type, is what I was going at.
On the bench, I am.
Another person who was loud on the bench, Tia.
Tia was loud everywhere.
Oh, right. She was loud everywhere, but especially the bench. I think the Big Ten Network or Indiana did a short video feature on how loud she got from the bench.
They had her wear a little
mic
cam the whole time. That was funny.
And I'm just thinking to myself, how do you not lose your voice? Michael Burke, no good. So 122. Now 125. Therese Smith with the three-pointer. And we're going to have a timeout for Springfield. 125-100. Yeah, outside of some finishes down low, this is a really strong game for Minnesota.
Is this their highest scoring game?
It is.
And
were you not listening to
5
me?
minutes left.
Were you listening to me?
I was totally zoning out. I was watching the play.
Oh, well, then you were actually doing your job. At least one of us is paying attention to the game, but you're right. It is their highest scoring game of the year.
There's still 5 minutes left.
Right. I mean, we're kind of in stat padding time now, but outside of a few finishes down low that have missed, this has been a strong effort out of the Lakers today.
They have. I just can't get over how deep their bench is compared to the Panthers.
Well, and part of it with these semi-pro leagues, you get a lot of folks that maybe are just out of college or they have day jobs, and where in the pros or even in the G League, used to be D League, you have teams that is their job. So they can make the travel because that is what they are there for. Here, it can be a little more difficult to coordinate. Minnesota, for example, they have to make some treks as well. played at Chicago earlier this year, lost that one 121-107. The Fury team is going to come up here tomorrow, and that should be fun, an undefeated team.
It's going to be a good game.
And this is the result you wanted, though, if you're the Lakers, as we talked about in the Open, getting out on a big run, building up enough of an edge where you can
coast
back.
a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to expend all your energy in this one game. Of course, I don't think I've come across any player who doesn't like playing games. So I'm sure the players, they'll push through it because, those back-to-backs. The stamina is the concern, but the other flip of the coin is, as we've got a 3 that falls for Kelly.
Look at the Lakers bench. They're having so much fun.
So with a game like this, I have to imagine there's some Lakers who would love to get back in there tomorrow because they're at 130 now.
Yeah.
Chandler with the 3. And if you lose, then at least, hey, we can try again tomorrow.
You think they'll get to 140?
I don't know.
I bet they'll get to 142.
If you were coaching, maybe. I don't know. You're up by 25. You've got the win. I don't think you need to worry about that too much. But if you make threes, okay, they call that a.
They shoot so fast. They all do.
They call it a 3. If you're going to make threes like that, maybe you do get 140.
They're going to get to 140.
And to think I'm happy when I see a game go to 100. But keep in mind, I cover high school games where there's no shot clock. Although Wisconsin's going to add one at the high school level in a couple of years.
Oh, really? That's
and
fun.
It's picking up steam. I don't know what would have changed at Washburn if you had one, but do you see Minnesota going to a shot clock down the road?
No. Or not anytime in the near future, I don't think. I feel like Minnesota is very slow to change its rules.
They were the first team to go to halves.
I don't know. I like the shot clock.
Well, and I think that's why I think you're seeing a stronger push for it.
So many teams that just want to hold the ball.
Well, and it kind of. Ernest Clayton. Did you just flinch a little bit at that?
No.
It looked like you were taken aback by that dunk of Ernest Clayton there.
I'm laughing at the Lakers bench. They're so
I see.
funny.
You're just. Well, let's see. Well. Another 3.
Another one.
Okay, that one was a little less, maybe a little less effervescent, but 138-107. This has turned into playground basketball now. 138-110. $138-110.
Told you they're going to get to 140. 142.
You said 142.
I said 142.
You said 142 because you like to go a little higher.
Just a little bit.
That's probably why you were so successful in high school and college. Someone would dare you to go 40, you would go for 41 or 42. Still a little bummed we couldn't get 50 out of you that one time, but.
Close.
49. That was all right. No, you gave us a lot of memories from your time in high school and Michael Burke scoring. And, in the inner city where sometimes you don't get such big names. Well, I guess Springfield, if they're not going to win, they're going to make Minnesota respect them a little bit here.
A little bit. If they would have, I know they probably didn't have the legs for it, not having all those subs. But if they would have picked up and played defense the way they are now, the whole game.
Right, we could have had
this would have been a different game.
Could have had a different story, exactly. But where You know, and seeing folks like yourself, Andrea Adams, you know, Taylor Hill a few years ago. You know, it's always, it was cool to see that even though you may have come from, you know, the inner city, whatever stereotypes you might have about it, game respects game. And
yeah,
as Chandler goes up to 30, that's why it was so fun to cover you in high school and see Andrea, because it didn't matter where you came from. You guys all love to play, and but you were all right. You know, you had a couple of tricks up your sleeve there, but
a few.
No, you were examples of how talent, dedication, all of those things can make you into a great player, no matter where you play. And that was our first shot clock violation.
It was.
Of course, we're in stat padding time here, so the Lakers playing a little more deliberately. But how about that?
I was not expecting that.
All right, we're going to get 140 right here. Now, we're at 140. Can we get 142?
Yeah. A minute and 25 seconds.
And I figured out why you wanted 142.
Why?
Because they had 71 in the first half.
Yeah.
So you probably put 142 because you wanted to see them double up.
Yeah, probably.
So strong second half by the Lakers, even if it is to be expected with the difference in depth. It's still a good win for this team. They've been under 500 most of the year. They're going to beat a 5-1 team with a 6-0 team coming here tomorrow. You can't complain too much about that.
I agree.
Now it's like you in the Big Ten. If you beat, say, an Illinois, or I know Northwestern had a down year, so what? You got to win those games no matter what, whether it's a team that has one win or if it's Maryland or Ohio State.
They all count.
Well, we're going to get 142. It might come at the line. Does this remind you of being back home?
Yeah.
Kids all over the place.
My little brother and little sister run around the gym because they're always in the gym like little monsters.
Well, they are. Well, your family, it's kind of like the Hill family, I guess. If there's a gym, you'll find a way there.
A little bit.
And that's without your dad coaching high school.
Uh-huh.
If he ever picks up another job again.
He used to coach when Kaysen was a baby. He coached with him on his chest in like one of those baby Bjorns, and he did it with the other one too.
That sounds like him.
We'd be coaching. He'd be running around with the baby on his chest like during games, and we're like, give the baby
It sounds
to
like
Keely.
something he'd do. It's because he is. Uh-oh. Well, not that I need this. Well, not that it matters at this point. Some little kid wanted to take my tripod home, but it's 101 left. It's all indifferent at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
The ending of this game reminds me a little bit of Matamita Como Park this past winter. As you know, I still do high school games, and that game had 80 combined free throws.
Wow.
For a high school game, that's a lot.
Yes.
It was far short of the record, but not something you prepare for in a game that doesn't have a shot clock.
Yeah, that's still a lot.
All right. Well, you get 142. Well, maybe not. We're going to be... Well, it's going to be right down the middle, isn't it? Well, Milford scores. There it is.
Got it.
And one more, so 143.
And one more. Yep.
But does your dad ever remind you, or like when you see Kaysen, and I don't know who your youngest sister's name is?
We call her Boo Boo.
You call her Boo Boo.
It's short for Boo Boo Kitty. We call her Boo Boo Kitty.
Is that a real name?
No. But that's what she thinks her name is.
Okay, well, did your dad ever tell you if you two were like that, you and Kendall?
Well,
Or you?
I feel like it was different because they were running around like watching us. I never had any older siblings to go watch. It's always been all about me.
You just had your parents to run around.
Yeah.
Well, no running around this. The Lakers, strong second half. Their highest scoring game of the season by a moonshot, 143-125. Not much else to say. That second half was the difference.
It was. Yep. I think the Panthers really lost their legs in that last quarter especially.
So you're ready to do this again?
Yep.
So since you're going to be back tomorrow with Chicago, I know we haven't seen them yet. How many points do you think the Lakers can get tomorrow?
121.
121. Because you had 142. Well, it came late. They got to 143, so 121. I guess we'll find out. Chicago likes to put up points too. So we could see another offensive shootout here. Unofficially, Denzel Walker with 37, Michael Chandler with 31 to lead the Panthers. The Lakers, Rochester Rogers at 22. And I got to count this up. 7 players in double digits.
That's a lot.
No 30-point scores, but when you have 13 players that can suit up, you don't need one.
No.
Well, I guess we'll let you go celebrate your birthday with your real friends. I'm just the
you.
imposter. No. Glad you could spend part of your birthday here, and we'll be happy to see you back tomorrow, and we'll bring you tomorrow's game. But for the next 24 hours, Minnesota's at 500. They go to 3-3. Springfield falls to 5-2. For our crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thank you for watching Midwest Basketball League action.